Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Thunder Alley here. Today we're going to be listing off the top 10 most important Chargers in terms of the team's success this upcoming season. I'm going to give you guys my live reaction to the article. I will link it in the description if you want to go check it out. It is paid, so if you don't want to spend the money, well, you can have it for free on the channel. So let's just talk about it. So starting off with number 10 is going to be offensive lineman Zion Johnson. I think this is pretty fair. Zion, of course, moving from guard to center. He's still in the interior of the offensive line, but don't get me wrong, the line is the most important thing in football, but he's a center, right? So yeah, you have to take that into consideration. The fact as well of he's not going to be on an island, right? He's not Rashawn Slater, he's not Joe Alt, but he's still snapping the ball. He's going to have good chemistry with Justin Herbert. So I think 10's pretty fair. I think Zion's really important just from the fact he's a former first round pick. He had a down season. He hasn't really lived up to where he was picked. So if he can have a good year, then the Chargers certainly are going to be a much better football team. Number 9 on the list is corner Tarheeb Still. So we're starting to get into the good stuff now. Last season, of course, we saw Cam Hart and Tarheeb Still both step in and play some high-level football. Two young rookies who kind of came out of nowhere, and you have to give Jim Harbaugh a lot of credit. This is what he does, is he takes hidden gems and turns them into studs, and that's exactly what happened here. When Derwin's playing in the slot, Still can go on the outside. Like, that's what he's going to do. And then when James is at safety, Still can take over in the slot and he can provide playmaking. I like this. Corner is so important as well because you don't have any help. Like, unless you're in zone, I mean, a lot of the time you're in man-to-man, of course, and you're going to have to be able to hold up. And if you can't, well, you're holding back your defense, right? Or you're relying on the pass rush to get home every single time, which isn't realistic. At number 8 is going to be Joe Alt. Now, this is a little bit questionable because, again, he's a right tackle. At the same time, though, I mean, Joe Alt, we kind of know who he is to this point. He's an absolute stud. You have to realize that he's only 8th because he's only 22. He turned 22 in February, and he's just already one of the best young linemen in football. I think that's why he's only 8th, right? I mean, if we're going off of just the future of the Chargers, he'd be higher, but this is technically the success of next season. I think there are more important players than Joe Alt. Not many. So number 7 is going to be Rashawn Slater. That's extremely surprising that Slater is only here. One, he has to get extended. He's due a big-time contract upcoming. But left tackle is extremely important. You could argue that left tackle is the most important position in football because you're protecting your quarterback's blind side, assuming it's a righty. I mean, of course, like Tua's a lefty. Is Tua the only lefty in football? I believe he is. So yeah, left tackle should be literally 1 or 2. Justin Herbert will be number 1. But in terms of right next to him, I would have put Rashawn Slater. No clue how he's only 7. You're telling me there's 6 more important players than Rashawn Slater? I find that hard to believe, to be honest with you guys. Coming in at number 6 is linebacker Daiyan Henley. Henley had a breakout season in 2024, and is clearly the Chargers' best linebacker. He's a 3-down player. He can impact the run game. He is a natural in coverage, both in man and zone. He can blitz and get after the quarterback. And Henley really came into his own as the signal caller of the defense, wearing the green dot while relaying the play calls to his teammates. He had 1 sack and 1 interception last season. I do agree that Henley is important. He's definitely in the top 10 because he is the playmaker out there. He's the floor general, or I'd rather the defensive anchor because he's on D. But in terms of being number 6 as a linebacker ahead of Slater and Joe Alt, I don't know if I can get around with that, man. I mean, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt are as important as anyone on the team because they're protecting Justin Herbert and they're going to have to buy him time, let the receivers get open and do their thing. They're also blocking in the run game for Amari Hampton, first-round rookie out of North Carolina, of course, and then Najee Harris, who was brought in free agency from the Steelers. I disagree with Daiyan Henley being number 6. Yes, he's important, but, I mean, over 2 tackles, I don't think that's accurate. I disagree. In terms of number 5 on the list is right guard Mekhi Becton. To be honest, I actually can understand this in the sense of Becton, he's got a lot of upside. Interior O-line for the Chargers last season was not good, to say the least. That's why Zion's moving to center. Of course, they went out there, they got Andre James. They ended up re-signing Bradley Bozeman, who was playing center for the whole year, of course. I mean, he was able to stay healthy. I think Becton is absolutely critical. I don't think he's technically more important than Slater and Joe Alt and even Daiyan Henley. But if he does end up living up to what the Chargers expect him to be, we could be talking about one of the best free agent pickups not only in the NFL, but in Charger history. I mean, he's got that type of potential. He played 18 games for the Eagles last season between the regular season and playoffs. His first year starting at guard. Yeah, I actually don't mind this at all. I mean, it's a high upside type of pick, if I'm being honest with you guys. Just expecting that, hey, look, if Becton ends up having a really good year, the Chargers are going to be elite offensively. That's just how I look at it. Don't mind it at all. Number 4 is Lad McConkey. McConkey last season was an absolute stud. He goes out there in the slot, and he's just an absolute nightmare. Nobody was able to cover him one-on-one. He also has shredded zone coverage. He just knew the soft spots. McConkey at 4 does make a lot of sense because we know he's going to have a great year. We know what to expect out of him. He's only going to get better. He's going to get open. Now he's got a little bit of help as the Chargers went out and got another second-round receiver in Trey Harris. They also got Amari Hampton and Najee Harris, which is going to open things up. I like this as well. I like it at number 4. Receivers are very important, but receiver is not the most important position, so I'm not really surprised that McConkey's only at number 4. And number 3 is going to be Derwin James, and now we're sort of rounding off the top 3 players on the team. Arguably, I mean, you could throw Slater and Joe Alt probably in the top 3, and I wouldn't hate it, but in terms of just when I think of the Chargers, I think of Derwin, I think of Khalil Mack, and I think of Justin Herbert. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. Derwin James is number 3 because of his ability to play everywhere on the field. When he's out there and healthy and at his best, the Chargers just rally around him. And the defense, for a reason, was elite last year because Derwin James is out there. I mean, he's just all over the field. He can get after the quarterback. He can get in the run game. He can make tackles. Of course, he can get after the football in the air and intercept it or deflect it. You know, Derwin James is the reason why the Chargers honestly are so good defensively. Yeah, Jesse Minter deserves credit. Khalil Mack had another amazing season. Diane Henley had a good one. I'm not taking away from anyone else, but Derwin James is the captain of this defense. And whenever he's out there, the Chargers are going to be really difficult to move the ball on. Don't mind this at all. Honestly, would not hate if Derwin James was number 2, but given the fact that Khalil Mack's in on every play because he's an edge rusher, you kind of have to go with that. Can't hate on it. He's still the old Khalil Mack. I mean, he might not be the Chicago Bears Khalil Mack when he was legitimately looking like one of the better players in football history. But right now, you know what you're getting at a Mack. He's going to win his matchups. He's unstoppable. And he can easily go out there and have a 3 or a 4 sack game. I mean, he's still that dude. And that's why the Chargers made sure that they brought him back on a new contract. And they're going to need him to continue to do what he does. And as much as I like to talk about Mack getting after the quarterback, he's an elite run defender as well. Having Mack here is even more important. And the number 1 is without question Justin Herbert. If you take a look at the regular season, Herbert played his best football, at least in my opinion, and the film shows that as well. The Chargers, double-digit wins, they make the playoffs, and then they get in the playoffs, the defense is lights out, but Herbert wasn't exactly on. I think a lot of that was the lack of run game, had a couple of deadly drops, but Justin Herbert will be the first to tell you that he needs to play better, and he's going to hold himself accountable. But Herbert, I mean, he is the franchise. He is the Chargers. When you think of the Chargers, I mean, you might think of Phillip Rivers or LaDainian Tomlinson or some legends like that. But I'm saying right now, when you think of the Chargers, it's Justin Herbert. And every single Sunday, the Chargers are worth tuning into. They're worth watching because of how elite Justin Herbert is at the game.